Welcome to Double Tap Business. Here we go. How's it going, guys? Today we have Lacey Kaeilani on the podcast. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Yes, you did. That was great.
Awesome. Well, I noticed you were part of Antler, and I wanted to say hi to you because I noticed your website, and I was actually pretty shocked. That's why I asked, like, whether you're actually even working on this, because it's probably one of the most sophisticated websites I've seen a startup has. Like you've
Thank
got
you.
content there, like it's pretty packed there. Why don't you start with like a quick intro and like what do you do?
Yeah, so Depot, we're a professional network for on-camera gigs in the media and entertainment space. We have thousands of users, hundreds of production companies represented from all of the major networks like Netflix, HBO Max, down to streamers like Twitch, digital brands like Grindr and Bumble,
Wow.
Verizon, and a ton of early stage startups using us to source talent such as influencers, customer testimonials, people for their next ad campaign, etc. And we're backed by Antler, obviously. It's an incredible team that's dedicated to our company. I've been really impressed with all of the support that we've been given. And they've really helped us take our site and our mission into the next step. So definitely Antler's great. They've been
how
excellent so far.
how long you been doing this?
The platform
Yeah,
or
the platform.
we launched the platform in August, ran it for about 12 weeks. During that time, became backed by Antler, also took on additional capital from some super angels, took down the site because we had so much customer feedback, had to play around with our model a little bit, refix the design. I mean, we really gave it a fresh take on what that V1 was, and ended up relaunching about a month ago. So it's been great to date. We're a completely free social network, which is the new model. Our design is awesome. It looks like a bunch of tech savvy millennials built
Yeah.
it. So you have dark light mode. You can, there's interest-based groups. It's a great site to use.
Yeah. I noticed I played around a little bit, and it's like you've got comment sections there. You've got
Yep.
it's
Mhm.
pretty sophisticated, and that's why I was like saying that like this is really really cool. So you have like background in casting, right? How did you
Yes.
decide to get started with this? This is pretty bold.
Yeah. I was at a point in my career where there just had to be more. I mean, plain and simple, there just had to be more to my day to day.
Mhm.
And I was walking to work one day thinking about, like, what is it? Lacey, like, just think,
Yeah.
throw in some music and like think about what you know and think about what you could build that would make a difference either in my day to day or in the casting world, etc. And by the time I sat down at the desk, I thought, I have an idea. When's the last time somebody challenged the traditional job boards in the media and entertainment space?
Mhm.
And the answer was, it's been a long time. So I would say over the course of it probably took about 5 weeks for me to find a CTO, an engineering team, and the original mockups and build our first iteration of our pitch deck.
Mhm.
And I found my co-founder Brad on AngelList, pitched him this like weird kooky idea of what a social network and casting was and like what even casting was to start with,
Mhm.
and he was sold. He was absolutely sold. And
Wow.
he has a background in gig marketplaces. He
Mhm.
was a first hire at Work Market, which was hired by ADP in 2018. Then built another startup that went through the Comcast TechStars Accelerator.
Mhm.
So he knew exactly what I was talking about when it came to gig marketplaces, which I think made the sell easier. So he ended up bringing over his team. So we're essentially all Work Market alum,
Mhm.
except for me, and started building.
Awesome. And how big is your team now?
There's 8 of us. 6 are full time and 2 are part time.
Mhm.
But everyone wears such an important hat on our team. Everyone comes from a startup background or a casting background. We have incredibly smart and hungry people on our team.
And how is it distributed? Like, do you have like product people, and is it like, do you have sales? I would assume you have sales.
We don't. So everyone, I do have an MBA intern.
Hmm.
She's an MBA at Wharton, has a background at Twitter and Amazon. So she kind of supports me on the biz dev side. But everyone else is on the engineering product side. So, we have our front end developers. Everyone's a full stack. We have a junior product manager. She's incredible. She's learned so much. She's a senior at Yale, and
Wow.
she's incredible. So, we also have senior engineers. So everyone has a great, weird, obscure background, but necessary tools to build a product like this.
Yeah, I mean, it really, really looks very impressive, and I'm assuming you know how to sell it since you build a cool team around you this fast as well. And then where are you now, like in terms of like growth stage? So you released a new version of the website a month ago. Um, Shit must be crazy now, huh?
It's busy. We will be relaunching. We call it our like season releases. It's a television like play, if you will.
Hmm.
So we released season 2 of Casting Depot, and we'll be releasing season 3
Hmm.
in the next, I'd say, 75 days. So season 2, the traction has been great. We've facilitated a ton of applications on the site. Users love us. The feedback is next to none. It's incredible. And all we're doing right now is just focusing on building a good product that works and creates efficiency. So the season 3 will include some new bells and whistles like
Hmm.
an agent functionality, more tools to engage, and maybe thinking about some more social aspects to
Hmm.
adding to the platform, but TBD.
And how does it work now? So you have employers, whether it is like a show looking for talent, do you onboard them manually? Do you go and just source them and say, hey, I have this pool of candidates, models, actors, etc., and you just kind of bring them on board, or do you just know that someone is hiring and you create like a job listing on your platform? Because I actually was I did a project for AI based marketplace, basically doing what you do, but more like for
Okay.
white collar jobs, and not as cool branding as nowhere near even remotely as cool as branding yours. So is that how it works? Tell me a little bit more about the process in terms of like
The
the
sales process.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a bit interesting because it is a two-sided marketplace. So on the talent side, talent is so hungry right now for gigs. They want to book good gigs,
Mm,
high-paying gigs, and they want to book a lot of them. They want to stack their credits. But again, keep in mind, our platform is meant for anyone and everyone who would ever want a relationship with the media. It's not just actors, traditional actors. We have game show contestants, people that want to be on dating shows, influencers, podcast hosts. You get the point. And
mhm.
so the sell is generally easy. It's like, hey, here's a free social network that you can book your dream gig on. And
Yeah.
you can have access to networks like ABC and Netflix,
Hmm.
and cool early stage startups wanting, somebody to promote their brand. So the sell is relatively easy. On the other side, with production companies, it's all about efficiency, and it's all about getting a tool into their hands that goes above and beyond and gives them that wow factor, which I really do believe we've built.
Yeah.
Um, right now, the workflow status of a casting director right now lives on multiple applications like Craigslist, Zoom, Facebook. I did a presentation yesterday at a TechCrunch event, and I showed side by side two hit shows on television. One, Let's Make a Deal, which
Hmm.
which actively casts on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's one of the longest running shows, in modern pop culture. And then on the right side, I showed casting on Craigslist. It's one of WeTV's shows, Love After Lockup, which
Hmm.
has seen 81 episodes over the course of 3 seasons,
Wow.
all on Craigslist. Like, imagine being the casting director on that, getting hundreds of applications, trying to figure out who qualifies and what the story
It's
is.
Craigslist.
And it's literally Craigslist. Like, I will spend some of my day just sitting on Craigslist, seeing who's casting and like, why? Like, why are you still posting on Craigslist?
Yeah.
They're waiting for a product like ours, essentially.
Mm.
So it's tapping those casting directors and saying, hey, your workflow process doesn't have to suck.
Yeah.
So that that's kind of been the funnel. But going forward, we'll have an agent functionality, which is really important to our platform. Agents will be able to manage their roster of five upwards to 5,000.
Wow.
They'll
Wow.
have internal analytics. They'll be able to apply on behalf of their talent to certain gigs. They'll be able to receive bids, and they'll have access to exclusive only union jobs, which
Mm.
is the trick. So yeah.
And so you get, I'm assuming, paid by like you have percentage from the overall like gig. Like how does that work?
Yeah, so our revenue comes in a few ways. On our site, you can post gigs, manage your applicants, manage your compliance, and you can also process payroll.
Mm.
So our payroll system kind of feels like Venmo in a way. It's
Yeah.
super intuitive, very straightforward. Feels like, again, like a bunch of millennials built just a really easy product to use. And so for the job posters, so the casting directors, you can go through the entire workflow process for free. There is
Hmm.
no charge. On the flip side, as talent, you can get through the entire workflow process, but when it's time to get paid, we take a transaction fee. And
Hmm.
our theory is that if we can aggregate every job opportunity on the market, talent will come and they'll be more than happy to absorb the cost, because now they're booking tons of gigs in one place. They can manage their entire career. It's like, what is that small fee
Yeah.
for building my brand?
No, I think this is like pretty cool, and I like that you have like pretty much everything done in one place. It's not Craigslist, like here's a board, apply anyone. You kind of like have a more control, which means that there is better quality for both candidates and production companies. And how do you get like big? I have noticed you had like a 90-day fiance. How do you get
Yep.
this? Is it also like Craigslist?
Also Craigslist. So
Wow.
I, way back when, maybe like 2.5, 3 years ago, I worked for the production company that I freelanced for the production company that
Mhm.
did 90 Day Fiance. And I remember sitting there thinking, this is one of the longest running shows on television. It is so difficult to cast. Like, getting people to A, talk about this, but B, talk about it on television and then risk the potential of whatever angle that show is.
Yeah.
It's tough. And it also has to meet certain like requirements or thresholds within within 90 days fiance's like boxes, if you will. So yeah, I remember posting on Craigslist, posting on Facebook, taking ads out on Tinder and Bumble, and it was just so difficult. And so now with Casting Depot, the idea behind it is like, imagine you can go into a search engine. It's like I can type in engaged, like lives in Texas, open to dating shows, and like everyone who fits that pops
Yeah.
up. And so that's how we attract those major shows, is like, don't post on Craigslist anymore. It's not worth your time. Just go into our search engine and you can find everything you need for your show and hopefully book the entire season, which could be anywhere from, I've seen 10 episodes in a season to 30 episodes in a season if it's a digital show. So you need to be able to book A, efficiently, B, the right stories, and C, on time.
Yeah, that's cool. I think for production companies, there is a lot of value in like quality is the main one. So like it saves money and time. And in terms of even models or like actors or talent, funny thing, I was signed with the biggest modeling agents in Singapore, but I
You
never
were.
had a chance to work because I was actually working on a startup and I never gone to any casting. And so I was like, fuck it. I was actually a part of Antler back then, and I think maybe if I had this platform, I was just sign up, and if there was someone legit interested, so I don't need to go like to hundreds of castings. Then like I know we either work together or we don't. Whether
Yep.
I'm going
Exactly.
to 90 Day Fiance or not.